Okay, here we go with the first exercise that's going to go along with our first backing track. And it's a very, very simple two-handed tapping arpeggio, an arpeggio being the notes of a chord spelled out. Now this is, you would have heard Eddie Van Halen, and lots of people do this technique, and Eddie Van Halen was the first one to do it, as we know. And even if he wasn't, it doesn't matter because he did it extremely well. So we've got a little chord progression that we're going to play, and we're going to spell out the notes of this chord progression with this tapping idea. So let me first of all show you exactly what it is. And the first arpeggio is going to be E minor, and the notes that we're going to use are E, G, and B. That makes up an E minor triad, and it's going to be 5th fret on the B string, 8th fret on the B string, and 12th fret on the B string. And the way we're going to spell this out, the second finger of my right hand is going to be the finger that's going to do the tapping. Now it's up to you how you do this. I hold the pick in my thumb and first finger, and then I tap with this second finger. Okay? Now what you can do is you can hide the pick away like that. I hope you can see that. You can hide the pick away in that finger, and you can anchor on the string like that, and you can tap with your first finger. But what I tend to do is I keep it there so I can swap between the two techniques, you know, normal picking technique. So if I'm playing, and then I can just get it in there. And what I just do is I just rest this part of my palm on the strings like that, which not only mutes them, but it kind of, you know, and I think it's, if you basically look at that part there, that's the bit that kind of mostly goes along the neck, like that. Okay, so let's just get to the nuts and bolts of the technique. What we do is this first finger of the left hand stays stagnant on this 5th fret B string, like that, and then you slam the tapping finger, depending on which one that you've decided to use. In this case, I'm using the second finger. You slam it on, then a slight downward movement just to give it a little bit of grip, and then if you just go on and off, you won't. Although you do get a little something, you don't get the, you need to get that kind of, the same thing as if you were pulling off with the left hand. Okay? Then once you do that, you slam the third finger, or whichever one you're deciding to use, onto the G note, the 8th fret B string, so you have this effect. Okay, now it's 3 notes, and it's generally known as triplets, which is counted as like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So before we get going with the backing track and we learn the other chords, if you're not familiar with this technique, it's probably a good idea to just, you know, get your metronome going and just try and build that up. Okay, so let's get on with the chords. What we're going to do is we're going to do a bar of each chord, and I'll show you what the chords are and obviously where the notes are. So the first one is E minor. Okay, then we drop that down a semitone, so the left hand is now going to be on the 4th fret B string, and the third finger is going to be playing on the 7th fret B string, and the tapping finger, okay, is going to stay on that 12th fret B string, and now we have a B chord, B triad. Okay, now we cross a string, and the first finger is now on the 4th fret G string, and I'm going to use my pinky to go up onto the 7th fret on the G string, and then tapping finger is going to be on the 12th fret G string, and then we have the same idea. Then the right hand stays the same, and the left hand moves up, and it's going to be an A7 chord now. Okay, we're not going to have the root in the chord, but it doesn't make any difference because we've got the 3rd, we've got the 5th, and the 7th, and the backing track will make up for the root for us. But trust me, it is an A7. Okay, then the left hand is going to move down so that the little finger still stays on that 9th fret G string. Okay, the first finger is now on the 5th fret on the G string, and the tapping finger remains on the 12th fret G string, and we have a C triad now. We move everything down a fret. So now the first thing is on the 4th fret G string, the pinky is now on the 8th fret G string, and the tapping finger is now on the 11th fret G string, and we now have a B chord, but this time on the G string. And then we move back to play the original arpeggio that we played. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll play it along with the backing track, and you'll be able to hear how the chord changes, how the chords change, and how the arpeggios move along with the chord. It's quite a simple exercise, but it's a really good one to nail this basic technique, and then once we've done that, we'll move on to some variations. Okay, so you noticed me doing that technique there around all the chords. Very simple. You probably wouldn't do it that slow in reality, but it's just a good way to build up the chops. Now, just a little bit more on the technique. Hopefully, by doing it that slow, you saw me taking the tapping finger and doing a pull-off like you would with your left hand. You know when you do a pull-off like this? Well, I want you to recreate that exactly with your tapping finger. So when this 5th fret is fretted, for example, 5th fret fretted. When this 5th fret is fretted, okay, you just tap this finger down and then just pull it off. But once you've slammed it on the fret, head towards the ground a little bit. And then make sure you slam that finger. Because if you just push this on and off, you will get something, but this will help you with the timing, and it will definitely help with the sound. Okay, so once we've got that basic technique, what we want to do is just kind of take it up a gear. Before we move on to the next variation, we want to take it up a gear in terms of speed, and what we're going to do is we're going to double it. So what we've been having is 3 notes per note, 1 and 2 and what we're going to do is have a thing called semi-quaver triplets now, which is 6 notes per beat. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so exactly the same technique, we're just taking it up in speed a gear. So let's just have a little demonstration with that a couple of times round, and you'll be able to hear it's starting to come into its own and start to sound like two-handed tapping now.